Merci, Barbuda. Bonsoir, mes amis. It's a pleasure. I want to coin a phrase that I would wish resonates among the group and be remembered by all of us going forward. That we went and we saw. We cannot yet claim the conquest. The conquest comes with our continued work. This afternoon, I want to thank every member of this mission, Permanent Secretary, Barbara, Port Authority, festivals, culture, private sector, tourism, all the interest groups that made the trade mission to the French outermost territories of Guadeloupe and Martinique possible. As indicated, I had to leave at the end of the Guadeloupe end of the mission to represent the nation at a quoted meeting in Guyana. But as also mentioned, I was kept abreast with what was happening. And by 12 o'clock at night is very early for me. Roger Perry and Cliff Williams could tell you, those are the times when my creative juices start to work. And you know, I have a way of making sure I can stay on top of things, because when the Prime Minister gave me this assignment, I know one of the things I have to do is report back to him. And so if I don't get the reports on the other end of the chain, I can pass it to my boss, who is of course expecting me to report on performances. But I think whether we went to Guadeloupe and Martinique from a private sector point of view or public sector point of view, we can declare the mission a success. I want to start by singling out the role of the media. The coverage that is provided on a daily basis by ABS TV. That speaks to a new dimension in the media relations and the reporting mechanisms in our country. And I wish only to encourage our media houses to embrace this particular model, so that future missions, not only of trade or trade nature, but future missions of national importance can have the coverage, because ultimately, when the people of this country are aware, they can support, they can become involved. I know without fear of contradiction that by virtue of the exercise to Guadeloupe and Martinique, that our own trade expo in June 19 to 25th will be a success. And it will be a success because of the efforts of this particular mission to Guadeloupe and Martinique, the energies, the synergies, and the very important role played by the media in galvanizing the public support, public information dissemination around this mission. Of course, I want to leave some room for questions. And so I will not go through this by blow. Barbara's gone through the objectives. The PS has chronicled some of the day-to-day occurrences in Guadeloupe and Martinique. For me, it's basically a responsibility saying thanks to all the interest groups that made it happen, to the funding agencies that made it happen, and to Antigua and Barbuda to give a commitment that a buzz has started. A bonding with our French neighbors, brothers and sisters has started, and we will not let it die. We are going to build on it. We're going to grow this particular relationship with the French outermost regions. They are our brothers and sisters. And maybe less than half hour from Antigua by air, you're in Guadeloupe, and under an hour by air from Antigua in Martinique. And so there is reason for us to seek to strengthen the bonds. We'll have heard of the trade arrangements and the discussions that took place between the private sector entities that went to Guadeloupe and Martinique. We've also heard about some of the exchanges that are likely to take place or that can take place through discussions that we've had in the areas of culture, I'm forgetting, I'm losing my train of thought here. The whole question of recycling. There's so many opportunities available. And just next door to Antigua and Barbuda, in the French territories, these are not concepts that are alien to them. These are things that are happening on an everyday basis in a very advanced stage and state. And so we have a lot that we can learn from Martinique and Guadeloupe. They too have indicated a desire to learn from us in the area of the hotel business. And so it's a symbiotic relationship. It is one where we will teach and we'll share, they will teach and they'll share. Ultimately, we've said it from the very day we landed in Guadeloupe, that a strong Guadeloupe Martinique represents a strong Antigua Barbuda, a strong Caribbean region. Their entry into the Caribbean marketplace in terms of OECS and CARICOM, those are almost automatic. They will happen. And so we need to make sure that we position ourselves based on our own national interests to ensure that Antigua and Barbuda can benefit, maximize the benefits of those relationships. I said by earlier speaker at the PS, I think it was, it's not about just Antigua and Barbuda getting benefits from exploring and exploiting the French markets, be it Guadeloupe, Martinique, or further into Europe. It's about the holistic nature of the arrangement, where our marks become available to them as well, the products that they produce and manufacture. And so I feel a sense of satisfaction in reporting back to the nation after the trip to Guadeloupe and Martinique that the mission which represented the nation gave yeoman service to the objectives that we set out to accomplish before leaving Antigua and Barbuda. The mission has been well publicized throughout the region, to the extent when I got to Guyana, Ambassador Henry and I held discussions with one of Guyana's largest manufacturers, and they have invited us back to Guyana, they to be determined, to explore the opportunities that exist between Antigua and Guyana. And so opportunities are now knocked on the doors. Antigua and Barbuda is open for business. And I think June 12th was the statement made by Antiguans and Barbudans. We wanted a change in direction, we wanted a little more energy, a little more focus, a little more commitment to the national growth and development. And these are now falling into place, not casually, because as I said, I mean, the whole Guadeloupe Martinique trip was given life to an MOU signed in 2011, which sat on shelves gathering dust. It took somebody, and in this instance, the Ministry of Trade, Industry, Commerce, spearheaded by the NA office, Government of Antigua and Barbuda, to give life to an MOU which is, 4 years old, and for which there have been no benefits, no attempts being made outside of signing to have any benefits accrue or come to the people of Antigua and Barbuda. And so things are happening. I can feel the dawn of a new day. What I want to encourage all of us who went to Martinique and Guadeloupe is to stay the course. When we did the launch of this exercise, before leaving, I made mention of the interest in going to Cuba with a trade mission. Having been there, having lived there for years, I know that every building in Cuba can take some leave-in paint. And I know with the growth of the tourism sector, that every hotel in Cuba can burn a Mr. Shoes candle. I know based on the nature of the spicy style of cooking, that every household, every hotel, every restaurant in Cuba, which is an emerging market, can take a Susie hot sauce. And I could go on with the Antiguan products. I mean, they make a rum in Cuba called Habana Club. I mean, with no offense to the Cubans, it's their national product. But I believe Cubans, once exposed to Cavalier and English Charbon, want to enjoy that more. Not to mention Coca Caribe. In other words, I'm saying that the products made in Antigua and Barbuda are second to none. And what we have done on this mission is to really give life. The process has started to give life to the manufacturing sector of Antigua and Barbuda. I'm heartened by the President of the Chamber and the commitments given to the Chamber for renewal, rebirth, because it calls for that renewal at the level of the Chamber, the umbrella organization of businesses, to really support the government's initiative and drive, the impetus we now have to move the trading arrangements in this country forward. And so again, I thank you all for being a part of this exercise. I thank you all for sharing the vision. We now have to collectively agree to live the dream. As I said at the start, we went, we saw. Our mission now is to conquer. I will leave room for questions from the media.